The reason your portfolio sucks is because you've got no freaking story. You did everything right. Project, code, you've got repos and descriptions, but nothing that makes a hiring manager feel, we want this one. That's why no one's calling you back. In this video, I'll show you what a strong portfolio looks like and how AI can help you upgrade yours fast. Number one, best versus worst. Okay, so before we even start looking at AI, you need to know what you're actually building towards. Otherwise, you're just gonna end up with the same portfolio you've already got, but with more emojis. So I pulled 3 real portfolios and showed them to 3 people who hire developers for a living. They are Wesley Gorman, former Senior Director of Engineering at Zendesk, Jessica Tai, Engineering Manager at Airbnb, and Bruce Lamb, a recruiter who runs Boring Resume. All right, so let's go on to portfolio 1, which is a GitHub README. So right off the bat, I see like every icon in a dev starter pack right here. So Wesley says, this list of technologies doesn't tell me much about what the person can bring to the team in terms of impact, which I think is a fair point. It's basically like a visual keyword checklist. So let's scroll down and check out this how do I contribute section. So this is a place where you might expect to see the outcomes or features shipped or bugs fixed. But right now, if we look at it, it's kind of just a bunch of statements that don't really say much. Jessica's comment was that this section is not giving specifics of how the candidate worked on a real life project with business impact. According to her, more details would be helpful so she could determine if the candidate's experience is a good match for any open role instead of just a bunch of technologies that they named. So basically, there's a pretty big missed opportunity here to demonstrate impact. Now we kind of scroll down to the GitHub stats section. Bruce pointed out that this person has had 944 contributions over 3 years and has a pretty well organized README. But he also said, I would like to see the scale of the projects. How many active users, how many transactions, web traffic, etc. So it's kind of lacking a sense of what those contributions actually mean. Main takeaway from portfolio 1, focus on the impact of what you did, not just a description of the tools you used. Okay, on to portfolio 2. Woo! Well, here's what Wesley had to say about this. Anything that doesn't drive alignment with the role is a distraction and potential time waste. So while this does look pretty nice, maybe it's a little too cutesy for a hiring manager who's wading through like 100 portfolios every day. So we're thinking about the hiring manager's experience when putting together your site. Now we look around and click on this playground link right here. So according to Jessica, this playground section is actually the most useful because it demonstrates the candidate's capabilities. However, she does point out that it's not really easy to find, and so it should maybe be called portfolio. Lesson here, don't bury the good stuff in a place where people can't find it. So we go back to the homepage. Basically here, Bruce says he would be interested in hiring this person, but only for freelance work. Problem is, there's no resume download or pitch deck for their services, so basically there's another missed opportunity. So takeaway from portfolio 2, it's better, but with a little more thought, this could be the difference between landing a freelance gig and just getting passed over. All right, let's move on to our final and third portfolio, which is Lee Robinson. This is super minimalist. According to Wesley, this is actually really useful for a hiring manager because it just gets to the point, right? Shows all the key details in one place. He does suggest that maybe this personal stuff could move to the end, but overall, every one of our experts basically said, I like how this gets to the point. Also here, we've got quite a range of different things, and Jessica pointed out it's cool that they link to the work outside of their 9 to 5. Bruce also appreciated that the site basically shows a well-rounded person with a bunch of experience in different areas. So that's a personal branding thing that ultimately beats a LinkedIn profile. Basically, all 3 experts picked this site as the best portfolio because it gets to the point while also showing the breadth of the person's experience. So the 3 questions to ask of your own portfolio. Number 1, does it show outcomes instead of just tools? Number 2, is the strongest work easy to find? And 3, does it sound like a person or does it sound like every other LinkedIn profile? Get those 3 right and you'll be in a pretty good position. So now you've seen what you're aiming for. Let me show you how AI can get you there in under an hour. Before the next part, if you want someone to actually look at your portfolio before you send it out, that's what we do on Mentor Cruise. Talk to someone who already has the job you dream about. Links in the description. Number 2, the AI tool map. All right, so now you know what you're aiming for. Here's the part where AI can actually help. Because writing this stuff from scratch is where most people get stuck and quietly give up. I'm going to walk through 4 tools right now, 1 for each part of the build. The whole thing should take you about an hour for your first draft. So first off, we're in Claude and we're going to use this to write a project description. So most of us already know what we did. It can just be hard to write it in a way that makes a hiring manager care. So my tip is just dump everything you remember about the project into Claude and you ask to turn that into 3 sentences a hiring manager would actually finish reading. So right in here, I've got the prompt at the top. Turn this into a clean 3-sentence project description for a developer portfolio. Problem first, what I built second, and then result third. The rules only mention those tools if they're crucial to the story, and the result must include a concrete number, and it needs to sound like a human wrote it. Basically, the 3 things we've learned from looking at the first 3 portfolios. So underneath, I've got a bunch of the stuff that happened in the project. And again, it doesn't have to be clean. You can dictate this, you can just put in bullet points, and we'll see what comes out the other side. My tip here is this is a great starting point, and now you can use that to iterate on. Next up, you've got to build your site. So if you've never written a line of front-end code in your life, this is the bit that used to take a weekend or never actually happened at all. Now you can do it in like 10 minutes. All you do is describe your portfolio in plain English, and V0 is going to generate a working UI that you can tweak, deploy, or hand off to Cursor or another tool to keep building on. So here, I've just made a very, very simple prompt for a personal portfolio site, given it a few ideas around the structure and the styling. And what I can do is basically let that go. It's not going to be perfect, so you're probably going to have to change the spacing or swap out a color or simplify a section. But what this is really doing is taking you from the blank page to something real in the time that it takes you to make a coffee. Now we can jump back to Claude for the About section. This is the page where most people sound like a LinkedIn headline. That's bad. Don't do that. So all you need to do is give Claude 5 real facts about you, what you build, what you're into, what you'd happily talk about for an hour. Then you just ask it for a short bio that sounds like a human wrote it. So here's the prompt: write a short bio for my About page, keep it to about 80 words, make it first person and conversational, and don't give me like a LinkedIn profile. Here are some of the points I added in, and all I need to do, give that to Claude, and he's going to start putting this together. Treat this like a draft that you make better. The version you end up with should sound like you and not Claude, but this will help you get past that blank page. All right, finally, we need to use Eraser for architecture diagrams. So if you've got a project with a backend, a database, and integration, a diagram makes it look way cooler and also 10 times more credible. Problem is, drawing them is annoying and sucks, but Eraser can do that for you. Just paste in a description of your project and it's going to generate a technical diagram you can drop into the project page. So I've asked it for an architecture diagram. It's about a web app where users upload CSVs and get back a deduplicated version. This is the front end, and here are the flow of data. So I just submit that. Basically in the background, it's going to start drafting the architecture diagram. Pretty cool. While that's happening, let's check in back on the portfolio. Still going. But here you go. Now we have a draft architecture diagram. Basically, hiring managers love this. It tells them you can think in systems and not just write code. Takeaway from this, AI is going to get you a pretty strong first draft in less than an hour, but you have to rewrite it in your voice and tweak things to make it yours. Number 3, where to host it. Now you've got your site, you need somewhere to put it. Here are 4 options in order of how seriously a hiring manager will take you. First off, GitHub Pages. This is free and it shows you're a technical human from the get-go. If you want a good example, Brittany Chang's site is the gold standard here, and it's a public repo so you can see exactly how it's built. Next up, Framer. If you want something that looks polished without writing a line of CSS, this is probably the fastest path. There's a bunch of templates you can use, and you can have fun with all the different components to customize your site. Next up is Notion. This is maybe the easiest option, but it's also the least impressive to technical hiring managers. Only use this if you've got nothing live right now and you just need to get something up to date. But upgrade as soon as you can. Notion page is a signal to a hiring manager that you kind of didn't want to put extra time into this. Finally, whichever of those you go for, get a domain. Go to pork bun. You can grab a .com for about $11 a year and generally avoid all the GoDaddy upsell tricks they pull. Yourname.com on a GitHub page is a Framer site. It looks way more serious than yourname.github.io. And that is the plan. Build 3 solid projects, explain the problem you solved, and end up with a real result. Use AI to get a fast first draft, then rewrite it in your own voice. Choose where to host it, buy an $11 domain, and you'll have something worth sending. If you want someone from the inside to review it before you apply, check Mentor Cruise and find your mentor today. And if you're trying to get hired as a developer right now, watch this next. Click here.